On this video, we'll be looking at page 231, problem 5.11. It has parts A through F. A says, what is the probability that Phoenix was the final destination? Well, I can write that like this. The probability that Phoenix was final destination. Abbreviate destination there. Okay. Well, it said there were 8,000 people total flying that day. 8,000 arrived in Phoenix, and there were 1,800 that were delayed. So I can simply express that as the fraction 1,800 over 8,000. This is one way we express probability, as a fraction. We can also express that as a decimal. Dividing 1,800 by 8,000 yields 0.225. And lastly, we can display probability as a percent. Moving this 2 decimal places to the right, 0.225 is equivalent to 22.5%. Alright, that is problem number 1. Problem A, I should say. Alright, B. B says the probability that Phoenix was not their final destination. That is not this event. Well, I'm going to call this now event A. Alright, just to shorten this up. So event A is Phoenix was the final destination. I want the probability that that doesn't happen. Notationally, we simply say A with a little apostrophe. We read this as A prime, not A. The probability of not A is 1 minus the probability of A happening. So that's 1 minus 1,800 over 8,000. That's the rest of the people. Well, 8,000 minus 1,800 is 6,200. If 1,800 people did something, then 6,200 did not of that 8,000. Expressed as a decimal, it's 1 minus this number, or 0.775, and the equivalent percentage is 77.5%. Alright, that is B. C says the probability the selected passenger was connecting and missed the connecting flight. C, the probability of connecting and missed the flight. Okay, well, it says that 1,800 connected and 480 missed the flight. So of the 8,000, 480 both connected and missed the flight. So it's 480 over 8,000, and this is 0.06, which is also 6%. Now, you would not need to express the answer in all three manners. I'm simply showing that they can be expressed this way. Any of these would be acceptable. D. Find the probability the selected passenger was a connecting passenger and did not miss the connecting flight. Well, that's going to be the 6,200. Those were all the connectors minus the 480. So I'm going to look at 6,200. These are all the people that connected, but I'm going to subtract out these 480 that actually missed their connection over the 8,000. Okay. Left off my notation here, but it'll be alright. So 6,200 minus 480 is 5,720. Divide by 8,000. And that's 0.715. Okay, and if you notice, these two numbers sum to 0.775 because that's all the people that were connecting. These were the connectors that missed. These were the connectors that didn't miss. Together, they are all the connectors. This number plus this one would equal that one. E. The probability . that the selected passenger either had Phoenix as a final destination or was delayed overnight. Phoenix as a final destination, that was 1,800, or was delayed overnight, that was 75, of the 8,000. Okay, so that's 1,875 divided by 8,000. That is approximately 0.234. All right, and that is 23.4%. So a little less than 1/4 of the people were going to be staying in Phoenix. That is, that was their final destination, or they had to rent a hotel or stay in the airport, whatever it might have been. Okay. F. An independent customer satisfaction survey is planned. 50 passengers selected from the 8,000 who arrived in Phoenix on that day described above will be contacted for the survey. The airline knows that the survey results will not be favorable if too many people were delayed overnight. Were included. Write a few sentences explaining whether or not you think the airline should be worried, using relevant probabilities to support your answer. Well, very few of the people, only 75 people of the 8,000 were going to be staying overnight, okay? Only 75 over 8,000, and this is less than 1%. Less than 1%. You can do that division. 80 over 8,000 would be exactly 1%. People had to stay overnight. Thus, in a sample of size 50, it is plausible no one sampled would have been in this unfortunate group. So maybe, a sample of size 50, it's entirely possible we would have gotten one, maybe even two, but highly unlikely that much more than that, and quite possibly not at all. So since so few people were in this group, the airline does not have to worry that we're going to really get a great number of those in that, if it is indeed a random sample.